what is one thing that we left out, G? Overall playing in the wind conditions.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's why he's a 4.5 player, not a 5.0 yet.
That's probably true.
No. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. We are honored to have our guest, G, Gardner Reed. He's been playing a lot of pickleball and getting really good, and so watch out. Today we're going to talk about a very fun topic. Do you have any idea what that is, G?
Hopefully it's playing with the wind, because I've been struggling with that.
You nailed it. You must have known. And so we're going to be talking about how to play in the wind. And here in Utah, where we live, this topic has come up quite a bit. There's been a couple indoor places that have come up, which is awesome to play in because there's no wind, there's no sun. The elements are perfect. However, when you start playing outdoors and there's wind, sun, shade, everything like that, that throws a different curveball in your direction. And so what are some of the things you like to do when the wind starts to pick up or when you play in windy conditions, G?
Yeah, I like to be aggressive if the wind is into my face, because I know if I hit a ball that might be long, the wind could help it keep it in.
Awesome. Anything else when you're going against the wind? Or with the wind?
When the wind's at my back, just a lot of soft touches, and yeah.
Great. So we're going to talk about some different key tips that will help you prepare to play in the wind a little bit more. The first thing that we're going to talk about is you have to know which direction the wind is blowing. Sometimes that might seem easy, and then other times that might seem a little bit more difficult. So first things first, you have to figure out which way the wind is blowing. At a lot of tournaments, I don't know why, maybe it's for this exact reason, but they have a flag or some type of a I don't even know what to call it. Do you know what those are?
A wind direction.
A wind
indicator?
direction. I don't know if that's what they're called, but we're going to call it a wind direction product. They have those at the courts, and so if they have those, you can easily identify which way the wind is blowing by the direction that those are going. And so that's a really easy way for you to figure out which way it's going. And so knowing that, you'll know which way the wind is going against you and which way you are going with the wind. Having that information, when you are going against the wind, what do we want to focus on?
Make sure the ball gets over the net.
Okay, making sure the ball gets over the net, that's a good general and broad answer. You always want the ball to get over the net, but when you have the wind coming at your face, the ball is going to slow down quite a bit more. When the wind is coming at your face, you want to make sure you're putting a little bit more power on the ball, because what happens when you hit the ball and the wind is going against your face?
It's just going to stop it.
It's going to slow it down by quite a bit. This ball, I don't have it in my hand, but it's a wiffle ball, a pickleball. It's very light. It has holes in it. And so the wind can really manipulate that ball a lot. And so if you put that ball up in the air for a long period of time, if you're hitting a soft shot, that wind can really take it and put it in different places. And so you really want to make sure you're having purpose with the ball when you're going against the wind. Also, when you're going against the wind, do you generally want to slice or topspin more?
I'd say probably topspin, because slice might get taken by the wind and just keep floating.
Okay, so I have a little bit of a different approach. That is true. However, if you are dinking up at the net and that ball lands inside the kitchen and it has backspin, what's going to happen to that ball?
It's going to bite really hard.
It's
going back to you.
It's going to bite, it's going to cut, and it's going to make it really difficult for your opponents to get to that ball. So when I'm going against the wind, I like to oftentimes slice the ball because I feel as if the ball can kind of travel through the air a little bit better with that cut. And then even more important is when you do hit that slice and it does land, it's going to land and then it's going to blow back even more, making it more difficult for the opponents to hit that ball. All right, so now that we've talked about when the wind is blowing at your face, what should you do when the wind is blowing at your back?
Be soft with it. Understand how the wind is carrying it, and if it's going to carry it out, keep it low.
Okay. Should you hit slice or topspin on these?
I have no idea.
He has no idea because the last one we kind of said he was a little bit wrong on the answer. So if you were a little bit wrong on the answer last time, what do you think the answer is this time?
I guess you should not hit a slice.
Okay, so I would agree with that. So generally speaking, and obviously there's different situations where you will do differently, but generally speaking, when the wind is blowing at your back, so it's coming from behind us, if I put topspin on that ball, what happens when it lands?
It's gonna shoot forward.
It's going to shoot forward, it's going to accelerate, it's going to put even more pressure on your opponents. And so that's one thing that I really try to focus on, is I try to put more topspin. That topspin not only is going to accelerate, but it's going to help that ball stay down rather than get carried up by the wind. So those are two really important things that you want to make sure you're paying attention to. Also, we didn't talk about this in the beginning, but this is extremely important. What is one thing that we left out, G? Overall playing in the wind conditions.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's why he's a 4.5 player, not a 5.0 yet.
That's probably true.
No, so this is very confusing, but one of the main things you want to focus on is your
feet, your
legs. You really want to exaggerate and have a lot of good footwork and preparation. As we talked about earlier, what happens to the ball when it's windy?
It can move around a lot.
It can move around a lot, and it can make sudden turns. It can jump into you, jump away from you. But if you have good footwork, how can you prepare for that? Or what does that do for you?
It just helps you be more agile and adjust to where the ball's bouncing.
It helps you be more agile, helps you adjust to the ball, helps you get up to the ball quickly. I've seen a lot of people who are flat-footed when they're playing in the wind, and they try to get to a ball, and then it jumps the other way. If they have better footwork, they're going to be able to get to that ball and get into position, and even if that ball does jump or move around a little bit, they're going to be able to adjust by making those small micro adjustments with their feet. All right, so we have G over here. He's up at the kitchen line, and we're just going to demonstrate what we should do in certain situations when the wind is blowing a certain direction. Fortunately for us, the wind is not blowing right now, and so it's kind of hard to actually demonstrate what the ball looks like when it's windy, but we're going to do our best. And so we're going to act as if the wind is blowing from behind me, okay? And so as we talked about, G should be slicing these, because when that ball lands, it's going to cut, and then the wind's going to push it even more, okay? And now for me, the wind is blowing at my back, and so I want to make sure to be putting a little bit more topspin on the ball and making sure to keep that ball down, because if I pop it up just a little bit high, that ball is going to get pushed back, and then G's going to be able to attack it. Also, we didn't address this as well, but what is a super effective shot for G to hit when the wind is at his face, aside from the slicing?
Lob?
Lob. You nailed it. It is very effective to throw up a lob when the wind is at your face. You see a lot of the pro players do it. It's easy because the wind kind of keeps that ball in, and so you can play with more margin of hitting deeper rather than timing it perfectly and placing it right around here. He can be aiming back here, and then the wind will push it in right here. And so it's still a super effective shot if you can get that ball high enough. But for now, we're just going to demonstrate what it looks like when he's slicing it, and then I'm spinning it a little bit more than normal. And then I missed it. Good. So, G's balls that are landing right here on a windy day, they're going to be landing up here. And then on top of that, they're going to be bouncing, and then the wind's going to be pushing it even more. And so that's why the slice is super effective. And then for me, on a super windy day, I really want to be focusing on keeping that ball down, and I do so by hitting it super short or by adding a lot of topspin, keeping that ball down. Because if I pop it up a little bit high, if I'm slicing it, trying to push him back, guess what? That wind is going to blow the ball, and then he's going to be able to take it out of the air. All right, we're just going to do a couple more. thank you for watching our video on how to play in the wind. Those are some of the key things that I like to remember is first you have to figure out which way the wind is blowing. It might seem easy, but sometimes the wind is swirly or you just think it's going one way, but it's going the other way. You have to be certain on which way the wind is blowing. Second, I would say, is your footwork. You've got to be in good position to hit that ball, and you've got to be able to make those small micro adjustments. And then third, you have to know what type of shot, slice, or topspin you want to hit when you're going with the wind or against the wind. Anything else you would like to add, G?
No, just hopefully it's not too windy.
Hopefully it's not too windy. Hopefully you play in a place where it's beautiful, good weather, California. Even in California, it's windy there. But there are times where it's windy and you have to be able to adjust. This really stood out to me because here in Utah, there's a couple indoor places and a lot of my friends have been playing in those indoor places and it's perfect conditions, no sun, no wind, no nothing. But then they played in a tournament outdoors and it was extremely windy and all of them had really hard times adjusting to that wind. And so if you remember these three things, I think it will help you in your next game.